Parents who repeatedly fail to ensure their kids attend school could face fines amounting to thousands of dollars. Associate Education Minister David Seymour announced the change as part of the government's tougher stance on school attendees. He says currently 90,000 students were chronically absent. Under the changes, schools have to notify the Ministry of Education about potential prosecution cases. And the ministry will then decide whether to take the parents to court. Initial fines could be as high as $300, but for repeat offenders, the penalty could get up to $3,000. Parents whose children are absent due to health conditions or maintain genuine engagement with the school will not face prosecution. A primary school principal in Whangarei had earlier called for exactly this. In 2019, Pat Newman from Hora Primary wanted more prosecutions for parents who deliberately failed to send their kids to school. But 6 years on, he's changed his mind and he joins me now. Pat, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Leah.
Hey, back in 2019, you were calling for more prosecutions for parents for truancy. What was going on at that time?
A lot of frustration because we were dealing with families that were dysfunctional and needing lots and lots of help, and there was nothing out there for it. Since then, we have been involved in quite a few different things, working with parents and working with families, and we've learnt from them. Unfortunately, the minister hasn't, but we have learnt from them. And what we have learnt is not to have a brain fade, but to actually think of how you can help people effectively. The legislation isn't new. It came in under the Education Act in 2020, even though David seems to be reinventing as if he's put it through.
Right.
What we know up in our way is that all the prosecuting in the world isn't going to work. It's actually trying to motivate, trying to get communities, trying to get families, trying to get the wider families to work together to look at how they can help people get kids to school, because it's not so much that I think people don't want to send their kids to school, but there's housing. Kids are shifting around to find houses because $600-700 a week when you're having to find places are there. It's jobs. It's all sorts of things like that. And the idea of going and finding people, I mean, the biggest thing I thought, what planet are you on, is when he said they weren't finding kids. Because if you are threatening to take $3,000 a day out of a family, who's getting hurt?
Well, it's I must say, Pat, $3,000 seems extremely high. And I don't know anywhere really that finds their way into changing a behaviour. We look at, if you get a speeding ticket, yep, okay, you might. It doesn't really stop people speeding, and it's punitive. And I mean, look, we've got an issue, Pat. You're a principal. You understand this. And you said
I'll tell you how I would fix it. I'll tell you how I'd fix it.
Pat,
instead of inventing,
let me ask the question. Hey, Pat,
okay.
how do you fix this, Pat?
Okay. Instead of getting $140 million and spending $123 of it to set up another bureaucracy, which I find a laugh, I would give the $140 million to the schools to actually work out what they need to do themselves to help their communities. We, for instance, we've put on a couple of extra vans. We bring in at this stage 25 kids a day that wouldn't be able to come to school if we weren't doing that. And we're doing that at our cost. We've got a benefactor, one of the Celtic service stations helps us, but I'd be doing those sort of things. I'm trying to get another van now. We would be putting things in place where we would have people able to knock on the door, not to come and say we're coming to threaten to take over or anything else, but saying, how can we help you? What do you need to get your kids to school?
Yep.
We'd be looking, talking through the wider family. Having another bureaucracy, and I do find it ironical that the Minister of Deregulation has now got two new ones, but having a bureaucracy is not going to do it. We know our kids. We had a very successful campaign running up north, and then the money ran out.
Right. Pat, that campaign, what did that include? So that was putting
We
on more
we we
buses.
no it combined. What we did is we got each school. Most of the schools up there got involved in it, and they used the voice of the kids, and they used social media and things like why is it important to be at school, and the kids were talking about the fun things, the things to do. It talked about looking over your neighbour's fence, and if you see the kids there offering to, pop over and say, look, do you want your kids to walk with my kids to school? All
Yeah,
of
right.
those,
Yep.
nothing mind-boggling, just
No.
human relationship stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Are there
threatening's not
parents
going to do
though?
it.
Are there parents? Is there a very small section? No matter
Yes, there
what
are.
you do, they just don't care, or they don't care if their kids get to school or not.
I don't know if it's don't care. There is a hell of a lot of distrust amongst some in our communities of any government, and I don't mean this government or the last government or anyone. It's just government,
Mm,
right?
mm,
They feel, and schools are seen as part of that government body, and so there is a distrust thing. So to get through that, the last thing you'd do is fine them. What we have to be able to do is to work with them to show them that schools are actually trustworthy and want to do their best for their kids.
yeah.
But you see, there's another thing. When I talk about the 140 million,
Mm,
it's all very well saying we'll get the kids to school, but unless we've got the teachers, unless we've got the resources, then the kid coming in the door, unless something has changed in that school, they're going to be gone in another week anyway.